An elite striker with a wide array of kicks and power punches, Sharaputdin Magomedov is a specialist at poking holes in his opponents. But the UFC is a different world, where chewing up and spitting out the best in the business is easier said than done. Unless you're elite. So is Magomedov that guy? Well, these Shara Bullet knockouts will give us a better idea. Born in 1994 in Dagestan, Russia, Sharaputdin Magomedov started rolling on the wrestling mats from an early age. As any kid in the region famous for producing world champion wrestlers would, but Magomedov had a knack for being violent from the get-go, which is why he transitioned into the world of Muay Thai and Lethwei, or Burmese boxing, as his journey in martial arts progressed. Now, Shara Bullet is a different Dagestani. He doesn't shoot for takedowns. Instead, he throws punches, kicks, elbows, and flying knees, thanks to which he garnered a pretty successful record of 18 wins and only 2 losses in kickboxing, winning the Eurasia Championship in Burmese boxing and the Russian Muay Thai World Championships. In 2017, Magomedov transitioned to the world of mixed martial arts, and the rest is history. Making his opponent quit in his debut, Magomedov started his MMA career in China, facing hometown hero Yin Kang Bao in December 2017. The Dagestani crusher started the fight with a right and left high kick that momentarily rocked Bao's brain cells. Magomedov then followed it up with a 3-punch and a kick combo to tag the Chinese again. A few seconds later, Magomedov landed another 3-punch and a kick combo, followed by a spinning back fist to force his opponent into raising his hand in admittance of defeat. The fight only lasted 43 seconds, but Magomedov threw everything in the kitchen at Bao, putting his wide array of skills on display. Magomedov's combinations are free-flowing, and according to the man himself, he doesn't know where his strikes come from. It's all natural, which is interesting because if Magomedov himself doesn't know what he's going to do next, how does one predict his next move? And most importantly, how does one fight him? Well, maybe by walking him down and trying to take the fight to the mat. Knee to the face. In his third professional MMA fight, some dude called Yashan Yursin effed around and found out. Magomedov started the fight with a couple of kicks, but was pushed against the cage and caught up in a clinch battle, which resulted in the fight hitting the mat, with Magomedov landing in full mount. The Dagestani fired off a couple of punches and elbows and then made his way back to his feet. Yursin was stubborn and kept his pressure on Magomedov as soon as he got up too. Magomedov missed on a flying knee but tagged his opponent with a crushing body kick and then a thudding leg kick, then a high kick that glanced Yursin's shoulder, and then a knee that Yursin caught and pushed Magomedov against the cage, trying to take him down. Magomedov wouldn't go down, however. After a minute of hugging against the cage, Magomedov broke free, but found Yursin's chin with a big right hand, putting his foe on chicken legs. Yursin tried to panic wrestle, but he ended up running into a knee instead and fell onto the Dagestani. Magomedov continued to land punches and bunches on a semi-conscious Yursin until the referee stopped the fight. Knee to the body. By now, you guys must have known that Sharaputdin is a mean machine who doesn't mess around. He starts every fight like he has a bus to catch, but his fight against Wulan Muhammadali in March of 2018 was a little bit different, since Magomedov took 20 seconds to land his first strike, a leg kick. Half a minute into the fight, Magomedov tested Wulan with a body kick and then with a leg kick. At the 50-second mark, Magomedov missed on a head kick and got caught up in the clinch, but within a blink, he blasted a knee to the body that forced Wulan into the fetal position. Magomedov's eye injury. Around the same time as his fight against Wulan, Magomedov suffered a brutal eye injury while training in Thailand. From 2018 to 2021, Magomedov stayed on the sidelines and went under the knife multiple times in the hope of fixing his eye, but the damage was beyond repair. Ultimately, Magomedov decided to give up on this lost cause and fight with one eye. Magomedov's physical appearance changed, but so did his personality. His misfortunes turned him into a villain who forgot the fine line between right and wrong, but we'll explain that a little later in this video. Hellbow knockout. After 3 painful years away from fighting, Magomedov made a successful return to MMA on July 2021, facing Mikhail Harvedian and absolutely clocking him with one of the most horrifying knockouts in MMA history. Viewer discretion is advised because this one may send shivers down your spine. Mikhail put Magomedov on the back foot from the get-go, but the Dagestani still managed to give him a taste of his raw power with an inside leg kick, followed by a high kick that Mikhail blocked. Mikhail immediately grabbed a hold of Magomedov and pushed him against the fence. Mikhail spent the first minute trying to take Magomedov down, but after failing to do so, he resorted to hugging and punching from a tight angle. Magomedov landed his shots too, so both men had their faces bruised within 3 minutes. Late in the 4th minute, Magomedov managed to break free with some big knees to the face and punches down the pipe. At range, Magomedov started to pick Mikhail apart with his diverse kicking range, forcing his compatriot into a firefight. Mikhail walked forward with reckless abandon and managed to push Magomedov against the cage. With his back against the fence, the Dagestani fired off a hellbow that sent Mikhail crashing to the mat with his eyes swirled like a slot machine hitting the jackpot. Hook kick, KO. A month after crushing Mikhail's skull, Magomedov was back in the cage facing a tricky test in Brazil's Joel Tiger. 25 seconds into the fight, Magomedov landed the first strike, a thudding leg kick that echoed around the arena. Seconds later, he missed the leg kick and Joel quickly grabbed a hold of him. Magomedov broke free and then snapped the Brazilian's body with a sweet kick and then a knee that had Joel backing off. Enter minute 2 of round 1. Magomedov continued to carefully pick his shots, relying on jabs and leg kicks and fighting at range to avoid takedowns. As the round progressed, Magomedov upped the ante and picked the Brazilian apart with his pressure, pace, and dexterity, showcasing his elite striking skill set. Tiger had nothing to offer as he was completely outfoxed on the feet. In round 2, Magomedov put his clueless opponent out of his misery. He clipped him with a side kick 10 seconds into the round. A couple of seconds later, Magomedov dropped him with a hook kick and walked off in style. 8-second flying knee KO. In his most recent fight, Magomedov fought Kushal Vyas at Thailand Fighting Championship 10. Legend has it that Magomedov was in need of some quick cash, so he accepted the fight only 8 days after having defeated Mikhail Razogin by a decision in December 2022. Magomedov couldn't care less who he was fighting. Some even went as far as calling the fight quote-unquote sanctioned bullying, but Magomedov had to do what he had to do. As soon as the fight started, the two fighters did a finger vice handshake and Kushal immediately level changed for a takedown, but instead of succeeding in grabbing a hold of Magomedov, he ran into a flying knee and fell face first onto the canvas. The fight should have been stopped there, but then the referee wanted to make sure just in case. The ref eventually ended the fight after a few seconds of ground and pound. Knocking out civilians. Earlier in the video, we promised to show you guys the dark side of Sharaputdin Magomedov, and we're about to deliver on our promise. Now make no mistake about it, Sharaputdin Magomedov is hardly your friendly neighborhood Dagestani. He has a knack for chaos in and out of the ring, and in 2022, an old video of him attacking a civilian inside a mall in Dagestan went viral. In the CCTV video, Magomedov was seen standing behind a couple on an escalator when the two lovebirds started kissing. Furious at the public display of affection, which is frowned upon in a conservative Dagestan, Magomedov confronted the victim, which led to a fist fight between the two. Although they were separated by security, Magomedov waited for him in the parking lot and then smashed his face in, for which he had to face legal consequences. Magomedov also recently kicked an opponent after being submitted in an ADCC grappling tournament. So, it is safe to say that he is not someone that you would want to mess with unless you are a UFC fighter, of course. But even then, you may have your work cut out because Shara Bullet is a highly skilled fighter whose unpredictability knows no bounds. Magomedov is currently signed with the UFC, and although he was rumored to face Derek Brunson at UFC 294, he doesn't officially have a fight booked yet. And after watching him crack chins for fun, it's reasonable why fighters would want to avoid him. But for how long? Sharaputdin is an exciting addition to the UFC middleweight division and one that has the potential to give champion Israel Adesanya a real run for his money.